Arizona State, disappointing. 2025, honestly. You make the first ever 12-team cultural playoff. You take Texas down to the wire, and you return a decent amount of those pieces. But injuries largely derailed the season. Jordan Tyson, injured. Sam Levitt missed a lot of the season, and so they kind of limp their way to an 8-5 season. And now they have a lot of work to do. They lost a ton in the portal, most notably Sam Levitt. Mentioned Jordan Tyson. He went to the draft. They are second to last in the Big 12 in returning production. They're going to need a new quarterback. With all that in mind, how does Vegas factor that into their 2026 win total, JP?
Vegas sees it as a true another step back. I guess I should say it's even money on 6.5.
Okay. So basically, kind of similar. I mean, Arizona was 7.5, but similar vibes in terms of Vegas kind of sees them making a bowl game, but probably not really much else. Um, I already talked about Sam Levitt leaving. He went to LSU. Where did they go to look to replace him, Sanders? What are they looking at with the QB position?
They came and they took my brother's quarterback, who
Yeah.
he was very excited about, and so as a result, I hope that Arizona State fans are excited about him as well. Cutter Boley played at Kentucky last year as a true freshman, I believe, and threw for over 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So he's young, right? He made a lot of mistakes. But clearly, Dillingham likes him, and Dillingham went and found Sam Levitt and, brought him in from Michigan State as a transfer. As a young transfer, I believe he might have just done the spring there, maybe early enrolled and then transferred. Maybe did a full year.
At the most, it was just a full year.
Yeah. So a very, very young guy coming from Michigan State, and now 3-4 years later, after he loses Levitt in the portal, he goes and finds what maybe Arizona State fans are hoping is the next Sam Levitt. He goes and gets Cutter Boley, who, like I said, was at Kentucky, and he brings him in, and it's going to be, I think, exciting, right? This is hopefully, if you're an Arizona State fan, he's the future of the football program for the next 2 to 3 years, which is definitely a possibility.
Hopefully
also,
it's not just a good 1 year and then he boogies elsewhere.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I feel like not. I feel like Kenny Dillingham, that's not the culture he has. I mean, the fact that I'm sure Sam Levitt had callers a year ago and didn't go until Kiffin came calling from LSU with who knows how much money. But the fact that he was able to keep that team together with the talent they had, that he was able to keep Jordan Tyson in the program, with the talent that he was able to keep Levitt in the program. And Arizona State is not some dominant football program. Like they had to have been staying, in my opinion, for the culture that he was building there and for the coach that he was. And so now he's gone and he's brought in some more transfers. JP, do you have thoughts on the rest of the roster outside of Boley?
I actually have thoughts on that quarterback.
I was going to say, you can give thoughts
fire
on
those away
Boley as
first.
well.
I'm not necessarily going to guarantee it's going to be Cutter Boley that starts for them. They're kind of their reporters, like our Maroon and White Daily or whatever that we have for Mississippi State. Their reporters are saying it's an open competition right now between 4 different quarterbacks. I'd say there's 3 that are pretty decent candidates, and that would be Cutter Boley, one of them, with his 6'5" frame. But there's 2 guys that are much shorter than him. A 6'1" 4-star freshman, Jake Fett, I think would be how you say that last name. Maybe Fetty, I don't know. And then Mikey Keene, the transfer from Michigan, who's 5'11". So for the casual fan that may watch those guys warm up on the sideline, if one of the shorter guys starts this year, I imagine there would be some guys questioning why the 6'5" guy who played in the SEC didn't start this year. But I do think there's some competition there. That being said, whoever does start at quarterback is going to have some decent weapons around them. They return one of the Brown running backs from last year, Tyson Brown, who had a good day against Mississippi State in the second half. And then Amarian Miller, who is a transfer from Colorado, I'm pretty sure, is a senior, he's 6'2", very, very good player. One of the guys that played with Deion Sanders and was coached by Deion Sanders. So I imagine he got some good things from him as well. I don't expect him to be, a Hall of Famer like Jordan Tyson is going to be one day. But I think
he's a Saints fan. He's a Saints fan, so.
Yeah,
I
I
think he
mean,
will have a productive season for the Devils. The
I
Sun
was wondering
Devils.
how he was going to work. He was either going to mention the Saints or at least circle back around to Jordan Tyson because I knew there was no way he was going to let that slide. I think that's very well said. In terms of schedule for this team, it's kind of an interesting one. An earlier bye, it's a week 4 bye, and it's because the week before they play in the Union Jack Classic against Kansas, so they're going to be over in London. And then also just something else to note, a big time out of conference opponent. Week 2, they're going to Kyle Field to play my Aggies. Should be a fun one. So kind of an interesting start to their schedule, and then they get the bye, and they really get rolling in conference play. Couple big, tough tests. They go to Texas Tech, and they go to BYU. So watch out for those games. Over under 6.5. What are we thinking here, boys? I know what I'm thinking, so I'll
Fire it
go
away.
and go first.
Rip it off.
I'm gonna take the over. I talked about that they don't return a ton of production, but I like what they got on the portal enough, and I like Kenny Dillingham as a coach enough. I think they'll find over 6.5 wins easy. In terms of like the quality of team they are. I'm not saying they're gonna reach like 10 wins, but I think they're gonna easily find 6.5 wins.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit different than Arizona, who we just talked about. I do think they get to face some of like the more bottom feeders in the Big 12, at least as far as preseason favorites go, right? You can always have a team like Arizona State from 2 years ago who comes out of nowhere, but they get to play UCF, they get to play Colorado, they get to play Oklahoma State, who obviously, yes, new head coach, everything is changing, but that's not a guarantee that it changes for the better, right? It's not a guarantee that it works. We'll talk about them later. Play Baylor. Baylor, I believe, they're the 11th, right? They're 11th in the preseason odds to win the Big 12. So they do get to play 3 or 4 teams from kind of the bottom half, bottom quarter of the Big 12, which is to their advantage, right? You win those 3 games, you win your 3 out of conference games. Now you only need to pick up 1 more. I apologize. Is it 3 out of conference? They play 8 or 9 conference games.
They played 9 conference
They play
games.
9. Okay, so you win those 3, you win your 3 out of conference.
We're just talking about them waltzing in Kyle Field and pulling off a big time win in week 2.
Yeah. That's a light prediction.
Just like that's nice and easy work.
You're right. I apologize. So 3 of those conference games that I just mentioned, the lower teams, 2 out of conference games versus Hawaii and Morgan State. I feel pretty good about those. And then you got to pick up 2 more against the rest of the Big 12. Maybe that's a team like Kansas State, right? They are they're in 4th, but maybe you beat them. Obviously, I don't think you win at BYU or at Texas Tech. Those are kind of the 2 losses I think that are not unwinnable, but I would not pick them to win.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go under.
Okay. Do you think they make a bowl game? Prediction on top of
Yeah,
the
I think they can
prediction?
get to 6 wins.
Okay.
I think they get to 6 wins, but
Sure.
I'm going to take the under on 6.5.
Where are we at, JP?
I'm taking the over. One of the things I wrote down is just like team strength this year is Kenny Dillingham. Period. I think he's good enough as a coach, and he's earned enough respect as a coach at this point to lead this team to winning some big games. I do think they got 3 really tough road tests in the 2 Texas schools and then BYU, and then you include the last game of the year, which is at Arizona. That'll be huge rivalry game because it's the 100th time those 2 teams have played, so the century game right there. Those are 4 pretty big road tests, but I think Kenny Dillingham is good enough to win 1, maybe 2. It wouldn't shock me if he won 3 of those games this year. That's just how good he is. And then Arizona State at home is already such a tough team to play. I got them winning over 6.5 pretty comfortably. I like the fact that they have quarterback competition. I don't think we're talking about like 3 necessarily bad quarterbacks. We're talking about a top 10 quarterback in this last year's recruiting class, and then a freshman who started games in the SEC, and a guy who transfers in from Michigan as well. I think they've got good competition there, and good weapons. So I think this is going to be a good team. I think maybe there's an outside chance they shock some people and they're sitting there in the Big 12 title race and the college football playoff discussion as we get into late November.
Sure.
I feel like they might be if they did pull out that upset, it'd be the least shocking upset because they've already done it once, right? When the 2 years ago they went from preseason last place odds to go on and win the Big 12 and make an appearance in the college football playoffs. They might be the underdog that doesn't surprise anyone if it did happen, because at that point that's just kind of what they do. Is what Dillingham does.
He's one of those people, that's when we start getting the narrative of he performs better as the underdog.
Yeah.
He kind of feeds off of that.
Yeah.